Greetings, everyone. So, today I have decided that I want to do something that I usually never do. I am really big on not reading on camera. Um, I definitely don't do like card readings online and lives, things like that for my own specific spiritual reasons. However, this movie, Sinners by Ryan Coogler, is so it's such a major thing. It's a major thing. It's a big deal. The hype is up about it, and I was I will say this. I usually don't get star studded and in the hype when masses of people go crazy over a thing. But my son is actually a movie director. And as a family, myself, my daughter, and my son, we get really into movies and critiquing movies and doing reviews to the point that sometimes in the past, me and my son have gotten into debates, like strong debates, almost arguments about movies. So movies is a big deal in my family, amongst me and my children. So initially, when I saw the movie, I was impacted, I was inspired, but I had a lot going on, to be transparent, during the day that I went to see the movie. And I was like, it's cool, it's good. And I started seeing more and more buzz about it on the internet. And of course, when I saw it the first time, I saw the spiritual concepts that was depicted. But sometime within 2 days, because I saw it again like 2 days later. So sometime between then and now, I am really infatuated with this movie. I'm very impressed about the movie. I'm impressed that Ryan Coogler, his talent. I'm impressed about his talent. I'm impressed so much by Michael B. Jordan. I love him. Like that's my new celebrity man. And I love him. I think he's doing an awesome job. Majorly talented. The entire cast of that movie is talented. So that is one of my pet peeves. When I critique movies, I really look at everything from the costume design to the casting of the movie, because if they don't cast the movie properly, not just with a person that has good acting skills, but even more, I am having a crazy recording day. So all types of things are happening. So when that occurs, that's when I know it's something that I really need to do. So I am going to press forward. But what I was speaking about is the casting. I'm a big person. I'm a person that's big on movies being casted properly. So if the characters don't look like how I think the characters should look, then I get really thrown off with the movie. But from casting to costume design, music, the whole environment, the background, the city, the town, of everything about that movie was awesome. Everything, it was awesome. I gave it an A+. So, but with my line of work and what I do in my area of specialty, I want to give a recap and a review of the movie, but more on a spiritual level. Now, again, like I said, I'm not one to jump online and do like readings on celebrities or readings on people live, things like that. That's not my thinking. I have my own particular reasons why I don't do it. However, this is one of those exceptions for me because it's so much in the movie. There was a lot of spiritual concepts and symbolism, deep, deep thought provoking things, dealing with related, deep thought provoking things related to traditional African spirituality, Black spirituality, in Black America related to hoodoo. It was a lot depicted in the movie. But the angle that I'm going to do my review, at least part of this, because I'm going to do a part where I'm actually talking about the visual things that you see in the movie and the concepts that they put in there and how I broke it down. But this first part and maybe even a second part, I'm going to do a real reading on not the characters. I might even do a reading on the characters, but a reading on the actors and the director. I want to read live for you all and give you all what my spirits are giving me, what I'm picking up, the messages that I'm receiving, the things that I see when it comes to these people. Now, my disclaimer with this is there are a lot of people who like read celebrities. That is probably one area of where you can be really, really on point, or you can be on point for the sake of what is seen publicly but not really on point. And I don't know if that I don't know if that makes sense to you, but the way I'll break it down is celebrities can be a bit tricky to read. Not difficult to read, but tricky to read. And the reason why, a little secret here, the reason why they are people who are tricky to read is because they project. There's projection in both manners, in both ways. They project forward a almost like I don't want to say a doppelganger, but they project an image, an alter ego. They project an alter ego oftentimes to be their forward self and what they want to be known as and seen as publicly. And then they have their real self behind that. You have to be a very, very specialized and excellent reader to get that behind real self of celebrities. And then the other ways that's projected on with celebrities, and that makes it tricky to read them, is that because they're known and seen by millions and millions of people across the world, that's how much projections they actually have upon them. So if you think about a person who has millions of viewers who are projecting what they think and what they feel they know, how they feel about a particular individual, all that energy is laying upon that person's energy, that person's spirit, their aura, and all those things. So it could cause a lot of barriers, and it could be very distorted for a person to read celebrities, because they have so much going on within their aura around them, that you have to get through all that to really get a true reading. And then on top of that, you don't really know if it's really true unless you know that celebrity. And sometimes it does play out publicly, and a reader can be like, oh yeah, I told y'all this would happen, and then it happens publicly, but it's still not always real. So what we think is real with celebrities and people who are always in the public eye is not always real. That's with anything. Now, that could go for regular people too. So I'm going to start with Ryan Coogler. I think he's awesome. Again, my son is a movie director, and we love him. We love him. He is like God sent. He is doing his thing. He is a person that I will say in their craft, which I've met other people like that along in my life. He is a person who is truly performing his craft. He is carrying out his destiny, and with him doing that, he's channeling his divine self, his higher self, as well as his ancestors and spirit guides, or what we would call in Yoruba tradition, his Egbe. He's channeling them very well to carry out his craft in such an excellent way. And they have him lifted. So, and it's so much that I love about him. The other thing is that he's so real. So me, I'm not going to give y'all my zodiac sign publicly on YouTube, but if you know me, then you would know, or if you've been following me for a while, you might know what my sign is. But I'm a very grounded person. My sign is a earth sign, and I'm very grounded, and I love down to earth people who may have the opportunity to be a bit snooty or, have an ego, big ego, yet they are not that type of person. At least they don't portray themselves to be that type of person. That's how I see him. And he may have a big ego, but it may be behind the scenes. But forwardly, when I've seen him do his interviews, I just love the fact that he stays real. He's authentically himself. He is a person who's not trying to put on or impress. He's just being himself, it seems to me. The other thing that I like is I can relate to him in that manner. And I can also relate to him in the fact that he he has a speech impairment. I guess I'll call it that, because he has a bit of a stutter. Um, and the reason why that I can relate to that is I also have a small, I call it, I guess a speech impairment can cover a broad range of things, but for me it's like a skip. So if I don't take my time in speaking, then I'll tend to like skip over my words. And that's been, um, for me, that's always been something that I've been a little insecure about and always wanted to improve my speech and public speaking. I had a total fear of public speaking. So it's taken me years to really come to the forefront and do a lot of things publicly, because for some reason, well, I know the reasons now. I've subconsciously figured out what the reasons are. I've had a strong fear of public speaking. And that's one of the reasons why, because I know when I do get into my flow of talking, I used to have this strong skip over words. And now I've been able to get it more balanced. Another celebrity, actually, just a side note, that I've seen who has the exact thing that I have had happen with me in my speech is Young Miami. And I'm going to try to see if I can put a clip of a couple of her interviews where I've seen her do it. So she speaks well until she gets to talking, and then she'll have to skip over her words and she'll try to jump back. Now, I'm bringing those things up and getting back to Ryan Coogler and reading him and his spirits is because before I actually get into the real reading, when I was looking at his interview as a spiritualist and a medium who does readings, I tend to read people sometimes without intentionally doing it. I could see his spirits with him. And what happens with that, the speech impairment that some people have, is they have a spirit guide that's with them that is trying to speak through them, basically. That person is likely a medium, and they're channeling their spirits a lot. And they have, it's a couple of things, it's a few things. One, the spirit could be trying to speak through them during the time. For me, I'll be transparent and give a personal reason. One of my spirit guides actually was speaking in a different language through me. Like, I can understand her, but the way she was speaking through me, it caused me to, my speech was different. And then the third reason, which again is one of my personal reasons, is that oftentimes we have, our spirits are giving us so much information that it is coming faster than it can come out of our mouth. So I tell people when I do my readings often with them that if it comes fast, just give me time and I'll go back and review it for you. But there are times where my spirits are giving me so much information, it's downloaded so much into me that it's coming faster than I can even relay it out of my mouth, and therefore it results with a skip. And so if you can imagine, it's kind of like a person has a spirit guide with them here, or wherever, and they're shifting from mode to mode. So it causes the speech to be stuttered or like distorted with a camera, like a glitch. And that's what's going on. It's like a glitch, but the way it plays out for us in the physical realm, it sounds like a stutter or it sounds like a skip. So that's some insight for y'all. That's some real deep spiritual insight that I usually don't share on my channel, but that's some deep insight for you all. Now I'm going to actually clip in me watching Ryan Coogler's interview on the Breakfast Club, because that's where I first got this idea to do this. So I'm going to go back and watch the interview and do a little mini reading for you all to have me give you messages about Ryan. Okay, so I'm going to actually pull it up on my phone on YouTube and
Envy, Jess,
watch
Larry, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Jess is out today.
Breakfast Club.
And we got a special guest in the building. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Coogler. Welcome back, brother.
Man, it's nice to be here, bro.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. Feeling good. We just premiered our movie last night. So happy to be at this stage of putting it out. And happy to be here talking to y'all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all. So I don't know if this is going to play out well because it's not live, but I actually picked up on his grandmother's spirit being with him. Now, I don't know much about Ryan Coogler's background. I don't know if his grandmother is still alive. I don't know if she's deceased, but I got to a part of the interview because I couldn't play my phone the entire time that I was recording, because I felt like it would just be a lot of silence until I picked up what I was needing to pick up from spirit. But I know that his grandmother's spirit is with him and very connected to him, and guiding him very strongly. What I will say before I continue watching this interview, because now I'm a little nervous that when I tell you all the messages that I'm picking up from him, it's already going to be in the interview. So it's going to look like I saw the interview before I gave the messages. So I'm only at like almost 2 minutes into this interview. So I'm just going to put my phone down and I'm just going to read him based on what I've seen so far and what Spirit has given me so far. And the next time I'll try to do this live so that you can see it real time, for real. But yes, with Ryan, he's very rooted. As I said, he's very grounded. So his family is a big part of who he is. So he's grounded in his roots, of his family roots. What Spirit is telling me about him and his ancestry is that on his father's side, not only does he have African roots, but he definitely has some strong Native, Indigenous American roots here as well. Very much so. And that one of his children, I don't know if he even has children. I do know I saw that his wife was pregnant. So if she's having a boy, his son, or he will have a son that will carry out even more of the legacy of their family than what Ryan is doing. So he has a legacy that he can't even carry out fully in his own life. Like his legacy is so big that he cannot even carry it out all by himself in this one lifetime. He's going to have a descendant, which will have to happen to be one of his children, which I believe will be a son that will carry out more of his legacy. So with that being said, what Spirit is telling me is that the thing that's interesting about people like that is that he actually needs to make sure he does a lot of work, spiritual work. It would be good for him to do a lot of spiritual work to cover his life, so he has a longer life. And I'm saying that with sensitivity, because many people who have a great legacy and don't have a long life, which is not what we want. he can do something about that to have a great legacy and a long life. But if he doesn't attend to it spiritually, like, I'm just gonna leave that like that. Like, yeah. But his head is divine. He has a divine head, meaning he has what we call a ori that is great. In Yoruba, we call it an ori. He has a great ori, a great higher self, a great divine head, great consciousness. And his vision is phenomenal, as we know. But Spirit is really talking about his ancestors on his father's side, because it's easy to talk about things that things that people do know. It's something different when you can talk about things that people don't commonly know. So that's why Spirit is giving me these things in particular. So his ancestors on his father's side are strongly helping him move through a lot of his work. But he does have a grandmother spirit is connected to him a lot, and is always like supporting him over his shoulder, who is very strongly connected to him. There is another movie that he may be already working on. And I actually think, because I like to tell people stuff that I know that I actually seen in the physical realm. So it's not like people think that I'm like cheating. But I did see this too, but I wasn't sure of the truth of the matter, because people post all types of stuff on social media. But he is working on, or he will do a movie about an African king. And if y'all think that he is doing great now, you have seen nothing yet. Like, he's really just getting started, So he's in his prime. Like, he's going to lay out he's already laid out classics, and he's got more in him. So yes, that's going to be another big one. My spirits are saying that Ryan has a very good heart, a clean heart too, if that makes sense. So he's not the type of person that will underhand people or undermine people, or do a contract with someone and they don't get their money. He's very fair, and he's really, he stands on the side of wanting to be fair with other people and not trying to backstab people or undermine people in that sense, if that makes sense. So on a business level, that's what my spirits are giving me. On a business level, he is a straight shooter. He walks a good line with that. And getting into him writing, my spirits are talking about him and his actual writing, in his writing process. That is when he starts to channel his ancestors with him, and he just gets into a zone, which many artists do. They get into a zone. If he is around water, he channels even better. So I know he's from Oakland, and I can't even be honest. I'm being honest with y'all. I don't even know where Oakland is falling on the map in California right now, if it's inland or if it's on the coast. I believe it's more inland. But when he's on the coast, if he's near water on the coast, it's like his creativity level just heightens. Or even if he has water, like water fountains in his house or near a pool, but more natural bodies of water, his creativity will intensify. Let me think. Let's see. This is an interesting thing. So my spirits are now giving me that Ryan actually has a set of twin spirits that are with him. So I know in the movie, I know in Sinners, Michael B. Jordan plays, he's twin. He's playing both sets. He's playing both twins. It's a set of twins. So that's phenomenal. But Ryan actually has spirits with him, a set of twins that are his spirit guides that walk with him. Male twins that walk with him. So he may have dreams about twins often. And if his mother is still living, she really needs to watch her health in her abdominal area, like in her stomach area. She really needs to watch the health in her stomach area. Something going on in the abdominal area or the mid area for his mom. So from hips to stomach, organs in the abdominal region, like liver, kidneys. She really needs to watch her health in that manner. Womb issues, things like that. And now, this is a big disclaimer. Anytime an Orisha comes up for a person, this is something that needs to thoroughly be confirmed in an Orisha divination. But I do see an Orisha around him, which happens to be who we call Ogun, which is interesting because that's not what I would have thought just in my own practical mind. But spiritually, that's who I'm seeing around him. Okay. Yeah, it's been a real interesting film day of recording, and that's typical whenever I'm channeling spirit or there is some spiritual energy going on. So I guess that would make sense. But back to Ryan, because I had to skip a moment to fix my camera. What else I'm receiving from my spirits about him is really about his mate, his destiny mate, his wife. His wife is an amazing match for him. She is truly his destiny mate. And what Spirit is saying is that she is extremely smart. She's very smart. She studies a lot too, or she was very studious at one point, and she reads a lot. She is part of helping him or assisting him with like research at times. So she may be a person who has studied a lot or knowledgeable about either a particular area or a lot of areas. And she's able to give him feedback on it. Like, no, baby, this is what really happened during this time. Like she's like a great fact checker for him. See what I mean? She's a great fact checker for him. And what else about her? Yeah, that she's there, a great match. Something about her sign. I don't know her. I don't even know her name. But something about her sign, either somewhere in her chart, but it could be her sun sign, is grounded as well. So it matches his energy. So she has some earth and fire in her birth chart. Well, we all do. I'm just channeling. But her sun and moon is very earth and fire. Yeah, they both have to be very careful with keeping their head clear, having clarity and not being too fuzzy in their mind from overworking. So I see where they could overwork at times, which is not good. That's the only thing that could really block them, is actually overworking. So they do need to take a lot of rest time and vacations. She's strong. She reminds him of his mother in a lot of ways. He's a person that his destiny, his path was already like goldenly laid before him. All he had to do was take the action. A lot of people have blockages on their path that they have to clear up on their journey. But for him, he actually had a path that, as long as he took the step he needed to take every step of the way, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. It's like things lined up, lined up, lined up, lined up. And he is a lover of music. He's a lover of music. Let me see. Yeah. I even want to say, this is odd, because I even want to kind of say he's a lover of animals. Like he might love dogs, or he might have a dog that is supportive energy for him. So being around animals or having a dog is supportive energy for Ryan. But he's a king. He is a king, I should say, and not in my southern drawl, king. He's a king. He was always going to be a king. So whether it rolled out as him being a film director, or if he was an engineer, or whatever he did, he was going to be the top-notch person in that manner. So I'm going to pause here until I receive, or if I receive anything else, I'm going to. Okay, so I'm not sure how much was picked up on my last little clip, but I think I'm going to bring this part of the video I'm going to bring it around about Ryan. There's a few things that I picked up on him. And these are things to come. So we can always go back and look at this video to see if EIJ was actually accurate with this spiritually. But one thing I'll say that is going on now is that he has to be careful with his back. Like he may have back issues. So he has to be careful about moving around or not hurting himself in some manner, or pulling his back in a manner. So you got to be careful about that. Or if it's working out, anything, he's got to be careful with his back. But in the future, and maybe near future, we will start to see Ryan grow his facial hair out more. So he may grow a beard. He may grow his beard out. And I see that he will acquire some land in Africa, though. I see that he's going to get some land in Africa and eventually build on that land and start doing some work there. And the last thing that I see for him at the moment is he may do something spiritual to surprise us. Like we might start seeing him wear a what we call an E-Day. We might start seeing him wear a bracelet on his wrist, which symbolizes, for those of us who practice Ifa, we call it, it's a ceremony that we call the hand of Ifa. But he may get some association, a closer association with a spiritual system, and we may start to see him wear some spiritual items like a beaded bracelet, or even acquire a certain name. But that's where I'm going to round it out for right now, and then we'll move on. I'll see if I'll get back, if my spirits take me back to Ryan and giving more messages on him, or if we move on to someone else in the cast. But that's where I'm at for right now. And yeah, this has been wonderful. I'm going to have to do this more often. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see where Spirit takes us with the next video and the next read. If you're ready to transform your life, click the links below to explore my manifestation coaching programs and a range of powerful spiritual tools designed for your journey. From self-care products to one-of-a-kind jewelry, you'll find what you need to thrive.